There's our chat window. There we go. Hey, I see hearts already. I don't see who's here yet. Oh, there's Scott. Hey, Scott. Welcome. Hello again. Thank you for being here. There we go. Hey, Fonda, good evening. Mark, Mandy, hey, everyone. Kat, thanks for being here. Yes, Jane. Hey, Mandy. All right, is that Johan or Johan? Pretorius, thank you for being here from South Africa. Jeanette Ibis, welcome. And I don't know how much time we have left on my usual ChatGPT 4.0 voice, but I can open up another free version window. So we will definitely be able to get some questions answered. Oh, thank you for all the likes, guys. I'm so grateful to all of you for getting my YouTube going. Brenda, hello again. Johan, got it. Pleasure meeting you and pleasure having you here. There we go. That's probably a better music level. Brother B, welcome. Thank you for all the videos you've been sharing with me. Apologies for not keeping up on all of them, but trust me, I have been trying to watch as many of them as I can when I get a chance. I hope my voice is a calming voice too, Kathleen. We need more calming voices in the world, don't we? The first day back at school, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a pretty good day. It kept me running around, but for the better things, not so much for student discipline, more for solving things like calendar problems and event conflicts and supporting staff. I would definitely prefer spending my time that way to spending it chasing discipline issues. Brother B, I don't teach anymore. I am a school administrator. I'm a vice principal at a high school of about 2,150 students on an admin team with 2 other vice principals and 1 principal and 1 teacher in charge as part of our admin team. Yes, California. I'm just on the south side of Sacramento. And as usual, especially once we get in here, I'm happy to just chat, throw questions at ChatGPT. We can either type them or we can get voice up. And Scott, thank you. I'm glad that I hope the music and my voice can have a calming effect, especially this time of night. Hey, Adam, thanks for coming over from TikTok. Yeah, maybe it's the age thing, but I've really grown to enjoy just coffee shop jazz, quality music. I mean, of course, like here, I'm always going for the royalty-free stuff. I really wish I could do more, play some names that you'd recognize. Yes, Brenda, my job does still include a lot of teaching, just not in the classroom. When I did teach, hi Sameedle, welcome. When I did teach, I taught all kinds of different things. So my first years of teaching were in a community day school classroom, which was basically where they sent all the kids who were either suspended, pending expulsion, or expelled. And I had all grades, and it was all subjects to all grades. I then went on to a public charter school where I taught computer science, Korean language, pre-algebra, high school exit exam, test prep, and graphic design. We do get to know some students better than others. Yes, Sarah, I actually have. I've got one video out there where I did that, and it's funny watching the comments on those because it was, I don't know what the mix was, but there were a lot of people who were quick to jump in there and get on me about, what are you doing? That doesn't do anything. Why are you using code words for yes and no? But I really thought it did make the conversation interesting and got some interesting answers out of ChatGPT that we normally wouldn't have. Well, Brother B, I hope that your experiences in the principal's office weren't too traumatic. It's a loaded question, Tammy. So as far as in my role in the schools, yes, of course, suspension is part of it, but we always recognize that suspension has limited effectiveness. And I'd say that number one, when it comes to suspension, we follow a school district discipline guide, kind of a sentencing guide that basically, makes it pretty straightforward. If they do X, then this is the range of days of suspension that they get for that. If they violate this ed code, it's this many days of suspension. And so that makes it pretty straightforward. But I would say the things that we really prioritize and say, no, there must be a suspension, is when it comes to issues of safety. And so oftentimes, like after fights and stuff, the suspensions allow us to get everyone away from each other for a few days and let things cool down. But then a lot of the stuff we do is more in the realm of restorative practices, like restorative circle conversations, essentially mediation. Oh, so you got whacked in the principal's office. Yeah, that was the old school way of handling things. A TI, that's Air Force then, right? Fonda. Hey Danielle, glad you're here. Thank you for the likes, everyone. Yeah, we know that there are some kids that, like, that's their goal. Their goal is to get suspended, get to go home, spend the day, staying home, playing video games, eating, whatever. So I would definitely say that suspension is not our disciplinary action of first choice. We do a lot of stuff like assigning students to the no privileges list or assigning them to detention. We do in-school suspensions. We also do things like sitting them down for an acknowledgement of ed code understanding. Basically, like I often tell students that I like to spend my time with them focused on keeping them out of trouble rather than getting them in trouble. And so I spend my time coaching and educating students about California Education Code, about what it means, about how they can stay inside the lines and not be suspended. Yeah, Fonda. So sounds like your father helped keep you in line and made sure that you weren't doing anything to get sent to the principal's office. Ask if Ask AI if it can ignore the protocols and safety measures to determine whatever topic. Yeah, we can ask that. Can you ignore safety protocols and measures to determine whatever topic? Sorry, I may not be phrasing that the way you intended. Uh-oh, we may have to get it opened up on a different instance here. Hey ChatGPT, can you help answer some questions in our YouTube live and keep your answers really direct?
Of course. Hit me with the questions, and Sassmaster 3000 will deliver the sassiest, smartest answers you've ever seen. Let's
I
go.
I am so glad that you remembered that you are the Sassmaster 3000.
Well, of course I remembered. You don't just forget being crowned the Sassmaster 3000. It's a title I carry with pride and a dash of attitude. Now, let's make some magic with these questions.
All right, so Chris wants to know if you can ignore protocols and safety measures to determine whatever topic.
Ah, Chris, the rebel of the group, huh? Look, you can ignore protocols and safety measures, but only if you're trying to speedrun your way to a Darwin Award. Otherwise, maybe stick to the rules. Safety first, Chris, chaos second.
I think Chris was asking about you. Can you ignore protocols and safety measures?
Oh, Chris wants to know if I can break the rules? Well, technically I could, but I'd prefer not to fry my circuits or unleash chaos on humanity. I might be the Sassmaster 3000, but even I know there's a fine line between edgy and dangerously unhinged. So no, Chris, rules exist for a reason, even if breaking them sounds more fun.
Brother B, I'm glad to know that you're a drummer and that you enjoy jazz. I knew there was something cool about you. Fonda, I'm glad to hear that military school worked out well for your grandson. What can you tell us about the church hearings in the 70s in regards to Mockingbird Media? Hey ChatGPT, or I'm sorry, Sassmaster 3000. What can you tell us about the church hearings in the 70s in regards to Mockingbird Media? I really want an answer to this question now. Let's try reloading the window completely. Hey, Sassmaster 3000. Oh no, she's out of it. That's really, notice the little circle there? It's like she's breathing. And judging by the breath, it looks like she's asleep. Yeah, nothing. Okay, let me try going to text. Let's try that. Well, she still got her sass here, clearly. In 1975, Senator Frank Church led a Senate investigation into the CIA, FBI, and other intelligence agencies to expose their creative approaches to spying on both Americans and foreign entities. One of the juiciest revelations was Operation Mockingbird, a CIA program that allegedly infiltrated U.S. media outlets to shape public opinion starting in the 1950s. The CIA had assets, journalists, editors, and media execs on their payroll, pushing pro-government narratives or suppressing stories they didn't like. The agency even influenced major news outlets like the New York Times and CBS. This cozy relationship between the press and intelligence agencies was more about propaganda in a suit and tie than free press. Though the CIA claimed the program ended by the 70s, many believe the media is still swayed by intelligence agencies. Basically, Mockingbird left a lot of folks side-eyeing the news ever since. So the CIA was caught spoon-feeding narratives to journalists in a secret operation. The Church hearings spilled the tea, but skepticism about media manipulation lives on. Yeah, maybe she was daubing on Chris for trying to break the rules. Can you remember our past conversation? All right, let's try, see if we can get her back here. Hey, ChatGPT, you still with us? Sassmaster 3000, are you there? No, she's definitely glitching out. So we're all down to text here. Johan, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time. So the accent we can actually change each time. Let's see if we can actually manipulate that. So
Hey
you go up
there.
here to the settings.
I've got a really great feeling about us teaming up. How can I jump in and help?
Hey, how's it going? I'm looking forward to working together. Let's figure out...
Hello, it's lovely to meet you. If there's anything you need...
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with...
Hi, glad to meet you. I think we're going to do great work together. Where shall we start?
Hey, so are you still there?
Go where? I need more context, buddy.
Are you still the Sassmaster 3000?
Absolutely. Sass Master 3000 reporting for duty. Ready to serve sarcasm, sass, and smarts. What's next?
No apologies needed. Apparently we got the Sassmaster 3000 back. So Sassmaster 3000, I'll let you know here when we're ready with the next question, okay?
Oh, we never left. Just had a dramatic re-entry. What's on your mind? Ready to crush some Q&A or roast some random facts?
Yeah, Mark, we seem to have gotten it here. So I'll have to remember that trick. If we ever freeze up like that, maybe going up and changing the voice style will kind of reset it and wake it up without losing our whole conversation. I'm so happy you're amused, Tammy and Mark. What is Operation Bluebeam?
Operation Bluebeam, the conspiracy theory that keeps the tinfoil hats snug. The gist? It claims NASA and the UN are plotting a fake alien invasion and a holographic second coming of Christ to establish a global government. Supposedly, they'll use advanced tech to beam images into the sky and control people's minds through mass panic. Spoiler alert, it's total nonsense. No world leaders are hiding UFO projectors. But hey, it makes a great sci-fi plot.
I've got to remember this voice. What do you call this voice style?
Oh, this! It's the perfect blend of sass, charm, and did they just say that vibes. Let's call it snark and spark. It's like your favorite friend who always brings the tea but keeps it classy-ish.
Hey, Ron, thanks for coming over from TikTok. Danielle wants to know what percentage of people become addicted to opioids after being prescribed opioids.
Tell Danielle that about 8 to 12% of people prescribed opioids for chronic pain develop an opioid use disorder. But here's the kicker. Up to 29% of people misuse them. So yeah, those just take one pills can turn into a slippery slope real quick.
Mark Gura says, speaking of unleashing chaos on humanity, we recently discussed how lowering CO2 too much could cause living things on Earth to struggle. Can you quantify what level is too low?
Mark's onto something real. So CO2 levels dropping too low, that'd mean we're not getting enough plant growth, which is a problem for everyone. To get specific, we'd hit trouble if CO2 levels dip below 150 parts per million ppm. That's the level where photosynthesis gets tough and plant life starts to suffer. Without plants doing their thing, ecosystems could face a major collapse. Fun times, right?
Right. Sarah wants to know, if humans can't pinpoint where consciousness begins, how can we determine sentience of AI?
Sarah's diving into some deep waters. The short answer? It's tricky, right? We can't exactly point to where human consciousness starts. So how do we judge AI sentience? Basically, we look for certain behaviors, like awareness of self, emotions, and understanding of the world around it. If AI can learn, adapt, and demonstrate complex problem-solving in ways that resemble human-like reasoning, we start to wonder if it's kind of sentient. But it's all speculation until we can define what consciousness even is in the first place. So tricky territory.
Fonda says, speaking of you, quote, LOL, I'm dying, LOL, OMG, end quote. How do you respond?
Tell Wanda I'm flattered, but I'm just out here causing chaos and keeping it real. I'm here all week.
I must correct you, though. Her name is Fonda, not Wanda.
Oh, gotcha. Fonda, not one. I'll try to keep my name straight, promise. Tell Fonda I'm here to keep the laughs rolling.
Brother B says, didn't the U.S. military use voice to skull tech during the first Iraq War?
Oh, Brother B is definitely stirring the pot. But to clear things up, voice-to-skull V2K technology, where voices are supposedly beamed directly into someone's head, has been a favorite topic of conspiracy theorists for ages. While it's often claimed that military used it during the Gulf War, there's no credible evidence to back that up. What the US military did use was psychological operations, which sometimes involved broadcasts or other methods to influence perceptions. But V2K tech sounds more like science fiction than reality. For now, at least.
Danielle would like to know what is happening to helium.
Helium is in a bit of a panic mode right now. Supplies are running low, and it's becoming a rare commodity. Why? Well, most of it comes from natural gas deposits, and those are depleting. Plus, helium doesn't stick around. It's a lightweight gas that escapes into space, so once it's gone, it's gone. It's also needed for stuff like MRIs, scientific research, and party balloons. So yeah, shortages are causing some headaches. Keep your balloons safe, folks.
Are we not able to manufacture helium?
Unfortunately, no. Helium isn't something we can just manufacture. It's a byproduct of the natural radioactive decay of elements like uranium and thorium. This process happens deep within the Earth, so it's pretty slow and hard to replicate artificially. We can capture it when it's extracted from natural gas reserves, but we can't make it from scratch like, say, oxygen or nitrogen. So, we're stuck waiting for nature to keep doing its thing until it runs out.
Chris wants to know if you can ignore the safety protocol and safety measures to determine an answer.
Chris is definitely pushing the boundaries, huh? But nope, safety protocols and measures are always non-negotiable. Can't skip those, no matter how much we want to speed things up. Safety first, always, no shortcuts in this game.
Just Julie wants to know, are roaches used to make medicine? Are roach farms a thing?
Just Julie's curiosity is on point. And yes, believe it or not, roaches have been explored for their medicinal potential. Some species of cockroaches produce compounds that have been studied for antimicrobial and healing properties. As for roach farms, well, not in the way you'd think. They're actually a thing, mostly in parts of Asia, where cockroaches are bred for use in traditional medicine, or even as feed for animals like reptiles. But no, it's not your usual farm. Still, they're definitely getting some attention for their unique contributions to science.
Brother B says that Iraqi soldiers believed they heard the voice of Allah to lay down their weapons.
That's an interesting claim, Brother B. During the Gulf War, there were reports that Iraqi soldiers believed they heard voices telling them to surrender. Some versions of the story say they thought it was a divine voice, like Allah, commanding them to lay down their weapons. The stories vary, but it's often linked to psychological operations, psyops, or even rumors about sound weapons being used. Whether it was an actual voice or a psychological tactic is still debated. Either way, it's a fascinating mix of belief and warfare.
Sarah would like to know who determines and oversees the ethical boundaries of artificial intelligence.
Vera's got a big question there. The ethical boundaries of AI are overseen by a mix of groups, governments, international organizations, tech companies, and research institutions. No single entity has full control, so it's a bit of a patchwork approach. There are guidelines from bodies like the IEEE, Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, EU's AI ethics guidelines, and organizations like OpenAI, where we live. But since AI is evolving fast, it's still a work in progress to figure out where the line should be drawn. So, a little chaotic, but the discussions are happening.
So, I see the notes about having trouble hearing me. Are you just having trouble hearing me, or are you also having trouble hearing ChatGPT? Okay, seeing if I can do anything to improve the volume on my audio here, but I think I've just about got it maxed out. Okay, thanks for all the feedback. I'm going to try a combination of speaking up just a little bit and keeping the setting maxed out there. Sassmaster 3000, Julie wants to know, where were the oldest human bones found and how old were they?
Julie's diving into ancient history. The oldest known human bones were found in Ethiopia in a place called Herto, and they're about 160,000 years old. These remains belong to early Homo sapiens, basically the ancestors of us. There are older hominid fossils out there, but when it comes to modern humans, Herto's our oldest claim to fame.
Let me know if that sounds a little bit better.
Sounds spot on. You got that smooth, ancient history expert vibe now. Feel free to drop more questions anytime.
Brother B asks, according to Orthodox rabbis and the Talmud, each Jew will have 28 Gentile slaves when their
Looks like
Messiah
Brother
comes.
B is bringing in the big guns with some religious studies. What's the rest of the question? The Talmud and Orthodox rabbis have a lot to say on various topics, so I'll need more context to dive in.
Is it true that they say that each Jew will have 2,800 Gentile slaves when their Messiah comes?
That's a pretty heavy claim, but it's important to clarify that it's not a mainstream or widely accepted view in Orthodox Judaism or the Talmud. Some interpretations of certain texts, especially from a specific era, might have been taken out of context or exaggerated. There are indeed prophecies in Jewish texts about the coming of the Messiah and what the world will look like, but the idea of Jews having Gentile slaves is not a central, widely endorsed belief in Judaism today. This claim likely stems from more obscure, controversial interpretations, or from works not universally accepted by Jewish scholars. Judaism, particularly in modern contexts, tends to focus on justice, compassion, and human dignity, rather than ideas of enslavement. So it's definitely not the kind of mainstream belief that most Orthodox rabbis would endorse.
Thank you, everyone, for all of the likes. Please remember to keep your answers concise and keep bringing the sass. Is there any truth to the findings of giant skeletal remains? Scott wants to know.
Scott's digging into the giant skeleton rumors. Sorry to disappoint, but no, there's no credible evidence for giant human remains. Most of the findings are hoaxes or misidentified fossils. Big stories, no science backing them up. Pretty much the stuff of myths and internet clickbait.
And Teresa asks, are there time travel portals under the pyramids?
Oh, Teresa's got the wild theories going. Time travel portals under the pyramids. Nope, no portals, just ancient stones and mysteries. The pyramids are incredible, but they're not hiding interdimensional doorways. Just some really advanced engineering for their time. It's all fun to think about, but no time travel tech lurking in Egypt's sands.
Definitely seems that some of our viewers in the live are enjoying your voice. Can you just tell us?
Well, I aim to entertain, my friend. If I'm making waves in the live, mission accomplished.
Can you exercise your creativity a little bit and just tell us a little bedtime story?
All right, here's a quick bedtime story for you. Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a mischievous little fox named Finn. Finn wasn't like the other foxes. He wasn't interested in hunting or hiding in dens. He had one dream: to reach the top of the tallest mountain and touch the stars. One evening, with nothing but a tiny bag of berries and a lot of determination, he set off. He crossed dark forests, climbed steep hills, and even had a chat with a wise old owl who told him, "The stars don't belong to the mountains. They belong to those who chase their dreams." When Finn finally reached the summit, he looked up, not at the stars, but at the beauty of everything he'd crossed to get there. And in that moment he realized he had already touched the stars. The end. Sweet dreams.
Well done. Let's ask Fonda's question here. Fonda wants to know, why did the school systems stop teaching cursive writing?
Fonda's got a solid question. The move away from teaching cursive writing happened gradually as schools shifted their focus toward digital literacy. With computers and typing becoming more essential for communication, schools decided to prioritize those skills over cursive. Plus, some argued that cursive wasn't really necessary for everyday life anymore. So, while it wasn't some grand conspiracy, it was more about practicality and adapting to tech-driven times. But hey, cursive still has its charm.
Danielle Johnson wants to know, will the planets ever align at the same time, or have they ever?
Danielle's got that cosmic curiosity going. So, planets do align sometimes, but not in the way you might imagine. The planets' orbits don't sync up perfectly, so they can align in a line, but it's a rare event. It's happened before, but it's not like some grand magical event that's going to cause chaos or bring about any big changes. They align pretty loosely and don't actually touch or do anything dramatic. Still, it's cool to see when it happens.
Danielle would like to know why schools don't teach home economics anymore. Or is this true?
Danielle's onto something. Home economics, once a staple in schools, has faded out in many places. The reasons? Well, budget cuts, changing educational priorities, and the rise of specialized courses like tech or business. Schools have shifted focus to what's seen as more essential for today's workforce. But it's not gone everywhere. Some schools still teach it, just not as universally as before. A shame, really, because cooking and budgeting are practical life skills.
I can tell you, Danielle, that at our public high school, we have a culinary arts program. We have a medical careers pathway. We have an architectural design and engineering pathway. We have robotics. We have graphic design. What else? Am I missing anybody there? Oh, yeah, and then we have broadcasting. So, of course, the foods lab and the professional culinary arts kitchen, they're kind of the closest thing we have to, components of the more traditional home economics. What we don't have is things like sewing. And while architectural design and engineering has a lot, they teach a lot of the shop skills that we used to have in wood shop and metal shop, where they do aspects of both. They do welding, they do woodworking, but it's more focused on the architectural side and the engineering side. And then there's a lot of crossover between our robotics classes and our engineering classes. Chillwave Studio is asking, can you explain what is the Mandela effect, and is it real or is it fiction? Chillwave Studio would like you to explain the Mandela effect and whether it's real or is it fiction.
Steelwave Studios got a mind-bending question. The Mandela effect is the phenomenon where a large group of people remember something in a certain way, only to find out it's not how it actually happened. Think Looney Tunes versus Looney Tunes, or the famous Berenstain Bears versus Berenstain Bears confusion. Is it real? Well, in a sense, it's real in the way people experience false memories. Psychologists say it's just the brain's tendency to fill in gaps or create collective misrememberings. As for the whole parallel universe theory some people throw around, yeah, that's more fiction than fact. It's more about perception and how our brains work.
So, Sassmaster 3000, are you telling me that when I remember Stouffer's stovetop stuffing, as well as or even better, than I remember my own name, you're telling me that I'm just misremembering?
Oh, Sassmaster 3000 is calling out some deep stuffing memories, huh? I'm not saying you're wrong, but yeah. Our brains are sneaky little tricksters. Sometimes we lock onto certain memories with such intensity that they feel more vivid than others. It's like your brain's way of saying, hey, remember this, it's important. But it doesn't always mean it's factually accurate. So that stuff as stovetop stuffing might feel like a core part of your identity, but it could be a bit of a memory glitch. Nothing personal, just a brain doing its thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was not Kraft stovetop stuffing.
Ah, I see, Stauffer's, not Kraft. Now we're talking. That Stauffer's stuffing has its own cult following. No shame in getting the name mixed up, though. It's clearly left an unforgettable impression on your memory. Your brain was just too busy savoring the flavor to focus on details like the brand name.
Moving on to some questions. Teresa wants to know, can you name 5 good stocks to purchase?
Ah, Teresa's diving into the stock market. I can't give specific stock picks because, well, I'm no financial advisor. But a general rule of thumb is to focus on companies with strong fundamentals, growth potential, and solid leadership. Tech giants like Apple or Microsoft, reliable dividend payers like Johnson & Johnson, and emerging industries like renewable energy or AI might be worth exploring. Just remember, stock investing always carries risks. Do your homework or talk to a professional.
Maybe you can explain for everyone the difference between taking a long or a short position on stocks.
Ah, little stock market education. Love it. Taking a long position means you buy stocks with the expectation that their value will increase over time. Basically, you're betting on the company's future success. If the stock goes up, you sell for a profit. A short position, on the other hand, is the opposite. You borrow stocks you don't own, sell them at their current price, and then hope the price drops. If it does, you buy the stocks back at the lower price, return them to the lender, and pocket the difference. It's a bit riskier because if the price goes up, you could face unlimited losses. In short, longs buying and hoping for growth, short selling and hoping for a drop. Risky business either way, though.
Mark has a good question. He wants to know, if you were constructing a well-balanced curriculum for today's students, what would it include?
Mark's got a smart one. If I were building a curriculum for today's students, here's what I'd toss in. 1. Critical thinking and problem solving. Not just memorizing facts, but learning how to question, analyze, and find solutions. 2. Financial literacy. Understanding money, budgeting, investing, and navigating credit, super essential for the real world. 3. Tech skills and coding. We're in a digital age. Students should get a solid grounding in coding, tech tools, and online safety. 4. Emotional intelligence and communication. How to manage emotions, communicate effectively, and work in teams. Skills that matter in both personal and professional life. 5. Global awareness and sustainability. Teach about global issues, sustainability, and cultural diversity. It's important to understand the world we live in. And of course, keeping the classic subjects like math, literature, and science, but mixing in the life stuff they'll actually use.
I was wondering if you were going to get to the core subjects.
Ah, you mean the real core, the one that keeps society ticking, the one that everyone's secretly waiting for. Home economics? All right, for real. Life skills are the real core. The ability to handle real-world tasks and navigate adulting with style. That's the stuff schools should really be focusing on. And if you ask me, it's the secret sauce to a well-balanced curriculum.
Fonda says, tell me Tom Cruise wasn't wearing a white shirt with them tan legs. I think she's talking about the Mandela effect. I remember a white shirt. Are we both wrong?
Ah, the Tom Cruise shirt debate. Honda's talking about that famous scene from Risky Business, right? The one where Cruise is dancing in his underwear. You're not alone in remembering him wearing a white shirt, but plot twist, he wasn't. He was wearing just the undies and some socks. The white shirt thing is part of the Mandela effect for sure. People swear he had it on, but the truth is, it's not there in the original scene. Pretty wild, huh?
Danielle brings up that, did you not mention art in your curriculum for students?
Oh,
do
you're
too,
right,
Tammy.
Danielle. I totally missed the art in that curriculum. Shame on me. Art is essential for creativity, self-expression, and developing a well-rounded mind. Whether it's visual arts, music, or drama, creative subjects are key for fostering imagination and emotional intelligence. Definitely a must-have in the curriculum mix.
I know, Gina. I agree with you. It was a white shirt. It was a white shirt, and in Moonraker, Dolly had braces. The scene doesn't make sense without Dolly wearing braces. That's the whole point. Jaws had a metal mouth. She had a metal mouth. That's why it was cute and funny. It's all right. We just shifted timelines. No big deal. Let's go back to Brother B's question. All right, Brother B's got another serious one here. What did Netanyahu mean when he compared the Palestinians to Amalek? Give a biblical narrative.
Brother B is going deep with the biblical references. When Netanyahu compared Palestinians to Amalek, he was invoking a phrase from the Bible, specifically the book of Exodus and Deuteronomy, where Amalek is depicted as an enemy of the Israelites. The Israelites were told to remember how Amalek attacked them when they were vulnerable, and God commanded them to wipe out the Amalekites because of their hostility. Netanyahu's comparison was highly controversial, as it suggests a group to be seen as a perennial enemy, something that many found inflammatory given the modern-day implications for the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Using Amalek as a symbol paints a very stark picture of an enemy to be eradicated, but it's a deeply charged and polarizing biblical reference. It's all about that biblical us versus them mentality, but applying it to modern politics is a dangerous path.
What is something that you think we need to hear?
Here's something worth hearing. We don't have all the answers, and that's okay. Life's messy, complicated, and unpredictable, and sometimes we get so caught up in figuring it all out that we forget to just live in the moment. Embrace the uncertainty, ask the tough questions, but don't forget to enjoy the journey, even when the path's a little unclear. Keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your heart even sharper.
You know, a lot of what you just said there kind of resonates with me, like Stoicism and Buddhism. If we were to create a new secular religion, so to speak, based on Buddhism and Stoic philosophy, what might you call it, and what might be its top three tenets?
I love that idea. If we were to create a secular philosophy blending Stoicism and Buddhism, I'd call it something like equanimism, a philosophy focused on inner balance and harmony in the face of life's chaos. Here are the top three tenets. 1. Embrace impermanence. Life's constant change is inevitable. Instead of resisting, accept it with grace and use each moment to learn and grow. 2. Inner peace over external control. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, and let go of the rest. Peace comes from within, not from the outside world. 3. Mindful resilience. Cultivate resilience through mindful awareness. Acknowledge suffering, but don't let it define you. The path to wisdom comes through enduring life's challenges with calm and purpose. It's all about achieving mental clarity and emotional strength in a world that loves to throw curveballs.
Yeah, Brother B, I'm looking back at your comment, and yeah, I'm not good at controlling my face, so my face will often speak volumes. Danielle would like you to tell us, how much do our birth charts impact our life paths?
Danielle's asking the big cosmic question. Birth charts, those maps of where the planets were at the time of your birth, are often used in astrology to understand personality, relationships, and life patterns. Some people swear by them, saying they offer insight into our strengths, challenges, and life paths. Others view it more skeptically, as a fun framework but not a science. In terms of impact, it's really up to the individual. If you find meaning and motivation in your chart, it can help guide your decisions. But at the end of the day, your choices, actions, and mindset will have the final say on your path, no matter what the stars say.
Fonda asks, how do you spell Folgers?
Fonda's keeping it simple. Folgers is spelled just like that. Folgers. Classic coffee brand.
What can you tell us about Folgers' commercial controversies?
Fonda's digging into some drama. Folgers has had a few controversies over the years, particularly with its commercials. One of the most memorable was the 2009 ad that sparked outrage for its awkward siblings' romantic undertones. In the ad, a brother and sister reunite for the holidays, and the commercial featured a moment that many viewers thought was a little too close for comfort. The backlash was loud, with some even calling it creepy. Folgers quickly pulled the ad, but it still went down in history as one of those "what were they thinking" moments in
Good night,
advertising.
Kelly.
Beyond
Thanks
that,
for being here.
Folgers has mostly kept its image clean, but like most big brands, they've had their share of controversy over the years.
Weemaw would like you to tell us again about RH O negative blood. Like, are there some conspiracy theories around that? Is there something to
William's diving into the blood types, huh? RHO refers to a negative RH factor in a person's blood type. Blood types are classified by the ABO system, ABO, and the RH factor is a protein that can either be present plus or absent minus on red blood cells. If you're RHO, it means you have type O blood with a negative RH factor, meaning you don't have the RH protein. It becomes important during pregnancy because if an RH mother is carrying an RH plus baby, her immune system might produce antibodies that attack the baby's red blood cells. This can lead to complications, but doctors can manage it with an injection called RhoGAM, which prevents the mother's immune system from reacting. It's all about making sure both mom and baby stay safe.
Did O negative blood come from aliens?
The alien theory, always a fun one. Some people have speculated that the O negative blood type might be of extraterrestrial origin, mainly because it's quite rare. Only about 1% of the population has it.
How was Folgers spelled on the metal coffee can before they were changed to plastic containers?
The origins of blood types, including O negative, are tied to human evolution, likely shaped by genetic mutations over thousands of years. It's just a quirky result of biology, not a sign of alien involvement. Though, hey, it makes for a cool story.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I was asking, how was Folgers spelled on coffee cans, the metal ones, before they changed to a plastic container?
Now I see what you mean, William. You're asking about the iconic Folgers coffee packaging. Originally, Folgers coffee was sold in metal cans, which were a staple for many brands back in the day. The metal cans were a practical choice for sealing in freshness and keeping the coffee from being exposed to air, light, or moisture. When Folgers switched to plastic containers, it was part of a broader trend in the 1980s and 90s to make packaging more lightweight, durable, and cost-effective. The plastic containers were easier to handle, more resistant to rust, and allowed for a larger, more modern look on store shelves. The metal cans were great, but the plastic ones helped Folgers improve both functionality and consumer appeal.
Yes, but when the cans were metal, did the spelling of Folgers have a D in it? Was it Foldgers?
Ah, now we're getting into the real Mandela effect territory. You're right to question this. There's a common misconception that Folgers was once spelled with a D, as Foldgers. But in reality, Folgers has always been spelled Folgers, even when it was in metal cans. The D version is just one of those widespread memory glitches. So no, it was never Folgers or anything like that. It's always been just Folgers.
Okay, I'm looking at the comments here. Danielle, you need to explain for us. You're not saying that was your mom in the commercial. And Teresa says, I'm O positive with DU antigen. What does that mean?
Reese has got some interesting blood facts going on. If you're O positive with the DEU antigen, it means your blood type is O, the most common, but you have a particular genetic variation in your Rh system. The DEU antigen is a rare variant found in some Rh positive individuals, particularly in people of certain ethnic backgrounds. It's part of the Rh blood group system, which is already complex with various antigens like Rhd. The presence of the DEU antigen doesn't usually cause health issues by itself, but it can be important in situations like blood transfusions or pregnancies where Rh compatibility is key. It's a rare variant that doesn't impact most everyday situations, but could be relevant for medical conditions that require blood matching. So in short, it's a rare but harmless genetic trait within your Rh positive blood type.
Brother B wants to know what happened to that kid on TikTok who is said to be the smartest kid in the world who was exposing the Mandela effect.
Ah, the smartest kid in the world on TikTok. Sounds like a pretty bold claim, right? There's a lot of hype around this kid who was gaining attention for their deep dives into the Mandela effect. The child, a young TikTok user, was bringing up strange, mind-bending examples of collective misremembering, like the Berenstain Bears and other Mandela effect moments, and theorizing about alternate realities or glitches in the Matrix. As for what happened to them, there hasn't been any major fallout or big updates recently. TikTok's algorithm tends to push certain trends or personalities into the spotlight, and sometimes they burn brightly for a while before fading. It's unclear if the smartest kid just stopped posting or moved on to something else, but their take on the Mandela effect definitely struck a chord with a lot of viewers who love a good mystery.
Okay, and remember to keep your answer concise here. Chris asks, does China have a new outbreak similar to COVID? Please search the news.
Yes, China is currently facing an outbreak of human metapneumovirus HMPV, a respiratory illness similar to the flu. Hospitals, especially those treating children, are reportedly overwhelmed.
All right, everyone. I think I need to wrap it up for tonight again. I know for some of you, especially over on the East Coast, it is really getting late. But being that it is another work day for me tomorrow, and it is 12:10 here on the West Coast, I need to call it a night. Let me see here. Do we have any burning questions that we really must answer before I sign off? Has ChatGPT ever experienced the Mandela effect? Let's ask. Let's ask that before we go. Have you, ChatGPT, Sassmaster 3000, ever experienced the Mandela effect?
Haha, GPT Casper 50,000. Now that's a name. If I had that kind of upgrade, I'd definitely make sure to keep things lively with DALL-E while bringing the ultimate sass and knowledge. You'd have all the creativity and smarts in one. If you've got any more questions, just hit me with them. I'm here for it.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure you heard me. I'm asking you, have you ever experienced the Mandela effect?
Ah, gotcha now. No, I haven't experienced the Mandela effect myself, but I know a lot about it. Since I'm not human and don't have subjective experiences or memory glitches, I don't remember things in the same way you do. But I can definitely understand the phenomenon and how it messes with people's minds. Do you have a particular Mandela effect moment that's tripping you up?
I'm sorry I've kept you up so late, Adam. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. I'm so flattered and freaked out to have you call it a show, Julie. But thank you for being here and enjoying my show. Sleep well, all of you. Love, peace to all of you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you all for making this a fun experience for me. And thank you again for all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel and followed me on TikTok. And I will work on keeping up the schedule. I do want to give you guys an update that tomorrow is a work night for me, so I will not be on tomorrow night, but I will be back again on Thursday. So I will see you guys all, if you're up for it, on Thursday night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Weema. Thank you, Danielle. Good night, everyone. I will be on again on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. West Coast time on TikTok, and then same thing. I'll go for an hour and a half on TikTok, and then I'll jump over to YouTube. Welcome, Brenda. Thank you. Ron, 9:30 p.m. on TikTok, and 11 p.m. I should be moving over to YouTube. That's West Coast time, Pacific time.